Go on, Skipper George.
Blackpot. Coco show, man.
This is the Black Pot, aka Kukushunamo, where we speak truth to power. Now, the next thing I would like to look at is rolling on your screen. And what does it say? Watch it. It says what? Africa rises against Tunisia's racism. Come here. We have looked at Tunisia. We have looked at Morocco. These are two countries that are almost believing that they are not Africans because of their skin color. A lot of countries in North Africa are beginning to think that Africa is not where they belong. They are not Africans. They prefer being called Europeans. Some of these countries have even tried to be part of the European Union. Some of them consider themselves as Arabs. They don't consider themselves as Africans. In fact, if anybody does not want to belong to us, we are happy to disown them and send them away. It's not by force. Remember, we talked about Tunisia only last week. How Tunisians were chasing black people in their country, killing them, beating them up, and chasing them out. But what we did not tell you was what really caused it. We gave you a hint. Today we want to go into details. Run the story. Watch it. And this is from CNN. It says, Sub-Saharan African countries repatriating citizens from Tunisia after shocking statements from country's president. My God, this is the president. That's the president. You see, he's light-skinned. So you would understand what he's saying. Come here. That's the president. Now let's read the story. Several sub-Saharan countries, including Ivory Coast, Mali, Guinea, and Gabon, are helping their citizens return from Tunisia following controversial remarks from the country's president last month concerning illegal immigration into the North African country. In a meeting of Tunisia's National Security Council on February 21, President Kais Saied described alleged illegal border crossings from sub-Saharan Africa into the country as a criminal enterprise hatched at the beginning of this country to change the demographic composition of Tunisia. I'm going to explain that. Continue with the story. Saied said the continuous illegal immigration aims to turn Tunisia into only an African country with no belonging to the Arab and Muslim worlds. Did you hear that? So changing the demographic composition, when we talk about demography, we are talking about what kind of people live here. Are they black? Are they white? Where are they from? How many males? How many females? That's demography. Now the president here is saying that illegal immigrations into his country are intentional and it's been orchestrated to turn his country into a black country so that they will do away with the Arab, listen, and Muslim mentality. Can you believe this? That's what the president said. A lot of black people are coming into this country. Before we realize our country is going to be called a black country. You are on the black continent, asshole. We are on the black continent. This is Africa. Because you are light skinned doesn't make you white. I've told you. The other day I talked about Morocco and the Moroccan embassy was not happy with me and invited me over to a discussion. My brother, my sister, I avoided the discussion because temperatures were so high. During the World Cup, when the whole of Africa was supporting Morocco, this was the same racial sentiments, racist sentiments that Morocco brought up. Our victory is for the Arab world and for Muslims. That's what they said. This idiot is repeating the same thing. He says that black people are coming into his country, Tunisia. They want to turn it black so that they will wipe away the Muslim and the Arab mentality. That's what he's saying. Adding that the ones behind this scheme are involved in human trafficking. The African Union strongly condemned the statements by the Tunisian government, calling them racial and shocking. Now, the chairperson reminds all countries, particularly African Union member states, to honor their obligations under international law and relevant African Union instruments to treat all migrants with dignity wherever they come from. Refrain from radicalized hate speech that could bring people to harm, and prioritize their safety and human rights. The AU said. Now, the Gabonese embassy in Tunisia said many migrants from sub-Saharan countries no longer feel safe in Tunisia and offered to repatriate its citizens who have until Sunday to register for voluntary repatriation. In another speech on February 23, Salid maintained there is no racial discrimination in Tunisia and said our African brothers residing in Tunisia legally are welcome in the country. Tunisian authorities arrested 58 African migrants on Friday after they allegedly crossed the border and resided illegally in the country, state news agency TAP reported on Sunday. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast said 145 citizens will be repatriated on Saturday. The state Ivorian press agency reported on Friday. Mali also announced that voluntary repatriation of its citizens from Tunisia, according to a Thursday report by state newspaper Le Sour. Yes. Meanwhile, Guinea posted images on Twitter of junta leader Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya welcoming returning Guineans at the airport in Conakry on Saturday and last Wednesday. My brother, this is the Africa that Nkrumah was talking about. The independence of Ghana is meaningless until all these people are liberated. Today, there's political independence, yet there's so much racism in Africa. People of the same destiny are walloping and beating and killing each other. It's so sad. A whole president, show me his face again. A whole president comes out to tell the whole nation that there is a certain scheme to turn his country into a black country. But they are not blacks. If I had a way, I will quickly repatriate all of them to Europe. That's where they claim they belong. Morocco, remember a few months back before the World Cup, had a lot of African people, black people, shot and killed those who were trying to leave Morocco. And you want me to be friends with Moroccan people? Am I crazy? Why? Why should I be friends with people who are killing me? If one African dies in Morocco, I see myself as part of that one black man who got killed. If I see one country trying to run away from blackness of Africa, in fact, I renounce and denounce that country. That's what Nkrumah taught me. Anybody who doesn't want to be part of Africa should not be forced to be part of it. Let them leave quietly. After they failed to be part of the European Union, all of a sudden, Africans have become a target. That notwithstanding, dash him away. Come here. That notwithstanding, it is a clarion call on all our dirty leaders who are celebrating independence, that is independence of nothing. When the money, the wealth should have been used to uplift its own citizens. If Ghana was okay, I am not sure they will be running to Morocco, Tunisia, and all the other countries in North Africa that do not want to be seen as black. Why are you treating our citizens like this? Is Tunisia better than Ghana? Now, yes, because our leaders are silly. No common sense. For that matter, countries that gain their independence later are becoming better than us. Our leaders have no common sense to think. After Nkrumah, it looked like it was a curse. All the leaders who came had very, very little brains, except one or two. It's sad and it hurts me. I travel around Africa and I see how black people are treated like animals. In fact, in some countries, animals are even treated better than black people by their own African people. There's a war between Francophone and Anglophone people, so-called. There's a war between Muslims and Christians. Today we have jihadists all over the place. They are killing fellow Africans because of religion. Tribal wars all over the place. Go to Boku. Two brothers are fighting. Mamprusis and Kusasis. From one great-grandfather, Bewa. That the Gombes and other people call the man Bewa. Kusasis call him Banwa. Bewa, Banwa, the same thing. From the same source. Today, two brothers are shooting and killing each other. In Boku, what happened to brotherliness? We can disagree as much as we can. But to kill each other like Cain and Abel, I didn't see this coming. What happened? Tribal war, religious wars, ethnic wars, religious wars all over Africa, to the point that now we have jihadism. Is this independence of Africa? The one that Nkrumah said, until the whole of Africa is liberated, the independence of this country is meaningless. Yet some people are bent on dividing us. Today you can't go to Burkina Faso. Terrorism. Mali, terrorism. Timbuktu, desecrated and destroyed. In our own country, Ghana, tribal wars. This ethnic group says is superior to this. This other one says, oh, they are bigger than the other ones. How come the other ones are called this and they are not called that? Brouhaha. Why? Will there ever be peace? Will there ever be peace? Why? Two brothers. Look at the other time in Dagbon. Two brothers belonging to the same ethnic group. Just two different families. In fact, even the same family, different gates, were warring against each other. Aburu and Dani. Asante Hini had to come in. Some other people had to come in after several years of installing no chief. Why? And you can't talk about it. When you talk a little about it, they are looking for your head. When you talk about Bokwe, they are looking for your head. When you talk about another, hey, your head. You talk about, hey, they are specialists in killing. When you kill all of us, take the chieftaincy and rule over goats and sheep. Why? Brothers. Brothers. Why? You cannot agree anymore.
Go on, skip a judge.
Blackpot. Coco show, man.